Hi, so X here, and this is my first video on Pokemon Showdown. This is pre-recorded, so in future references, if you want me to do it live, you can tell me. So we do have our first battle here against this cool Volcanion, oh gosh, can't speak, Volcanion team here, and I predicted the Porygon Z lead since it's quite common, and I decided to leave T-Tar since it is my mandatory self-shot lead. So I lead T-Tar. I decided to calc his tri-pack for some reason. I don't know why. So I did end up just going for rocks, and yeah. So this team is consists of 3 choice users. One being choice band Scizor, the second one being choice scarf Laddie, and the last being choice specs. Wait, what am I saying? Choice specs Laddie, and then choice scarf pure and black. So I really like this team, even though there is a lot of choice users. It consists on predicting, but I really like this team. So I decided just to go for the Ice Beam here on the Lano T. I was predicting a Stealth Rock from it, or a Superpower, or an EQ. I was focused that, so I knew I could live and hit. It actually ended up going for the U-turn, which was not expected from me. So he sent us the Road and Wash. I fire off the Ice Beam, doesn't do too much, and I decided just to go for the Crunch to get off maximum damage, and he takes me out with a Hydro Pump. I then decided to go to Laddie because his switching to a Specs Draco does not exist on his team. So yeah, I just dropped the Draco here and that basically got my kill. So I'm currently on 1400 on the ladder, I believe. I'm not sure, but I do climb a little, and I'm probably going to continue this series until I get to about 1650, which is where I'm normally supposed to be at. So I dropped Draco onto Rodon, takes it out, one of the biggest threats to my Scizor and my Garchomp gone, and since my Churn doesn't carry Burst Power, it's not going to do much. At this rate, my switching to Spec Steam Eruption does not exist, except for Latios, and he or she's at -2. So I decided to calc how much a -2 Draco would do. It did on the calc, it shows it did about 42 to 55%. I'm not sure, I don't remember. So I decided to stay in and fire off a Draco. It wouldn't hurt anyone, so I stayed in, fired off another Draco. It doesn't do too much, and he fires off Steam Eruption and unfortunately burns me. So at this point, I decided to make a very risky play since he tanked that Draco meter quite well. I saw he was more bulky, so I decided to go into Garchomp. I know I can live a Steam Eruption, even if it's Specs, and he unfortunately misses. Now that miss is huge, and if he burned me, that would be even huger. I don't even know if that's more. So I double back into Laddie. That I was predicting a switch into the Lando T. That was a very, I don't know, mediocre play, but I still stood by my play since my Garchomp could have easily taken out his Volcanion, which could have applied a lot of pressure to my team once Latios went down. So I predicted the Lando T, which didn't work out for me, and I stayed in just to fire off a Draco to take out this Volcanion, and Laddie is going to go down to burn damage. So at this point, I thought that maybe the Porygon Z is going to come back out. So I decided to go out into my turn back since it can reliably take on 3 out of 4 of the members of the team, even Sableye, since a burn turn back can do about 60% to Sableye with Outrage. I decided to calc how much Outrage would do to Porygon Z and figure out it was a solid OHKO. So Porygon Z was most likely to come out here. I didn't want to risk Scizor because I don't want the Sableye or the Landorus or the Medicham coming in, so I decided to go for the turn back play. So my opponent's quite talkative here. I don't really like to talk during battle, so that is a future reference. I'll probably be uploading once per week. I don't know. Depends on my schedule. So this is my first video. In the future I'll probably go live. So I just decided to fire off an Outrage here. So right now I thought he was going to go into the Lando and do some stuff, or I don't know. So he decided to go out into Sableye. I know he's going to Will-O-Wisp me, but see, that Outrage does like 60%. So that's a solid 2 to KO, and I knew I could go for Outrage. But he actually goes for a Confuse Ray, and I broke through. Like, I don't know how I broke through Confusion with my luck, but yeah, so I take out the save out, which is huge. I realized I don't have a switch into mid-champ. I switch on to making a fake out, and if it was banned, bullet punch would have done about 60 to 70%. I'm not sure, but it would have done a lot to where Ice Beam can take him out. But so he actually, so I ended up going for the pursuit, predicting him to switch. But he ended up going for the HJK, just taking out my scissors, so that was a very stupid play by me. But I just decided to go back out into my Fury and fire off an Ice Beam. This was to just get maximum damage off on the mid-champ, since, yeah, that's all I could do since I'm burned. But my opponent actually was a really questionable play of doubling back into the Landers. He was probably getting an outreach, but I was burned, so I decided to go for the Ice Beam instead. He reveals the, what do you call it? Bullet Punch. So, at this point in the game, I could just go on to Garchomp and then EQ, and I thought he was going to go down to rough skin damage, but apparently that's not the case. And at this point of the game, I suck at calc, so I thought I lost. A BP is probably going to take me out. I was like, oh, first game of my first video, I lose. What a first game. So BP actually ended up not taking me out, and I was able to take my first game. So that was GG, really good game with my opponent, and let's hop on to the second one. So, we have second game here. Really interesting squad. I was predicting the Breloom since Breloom is quite common. So, I'm pretty sure I decided to leave with Scizor so I could U-turn out on the Breloom and use T-Tar as my sleep fodder. He ends up starting with this Heatran. Now, this was a really stupid thing on me. Since he started with Heatran, I thought he was going to go for rocks. So I decided to try and go for the bandage because I want to take him out, but he ended up just going straight for the Mammoth one. So this was a really stupid play I made, because since he needed Heatran, I thought he was going to go for rocks. At this point, I decided going to T-Tar since I have the EQ. His switch-ins for EQ consists of Gyarados, Garchomp, and Sunburst. Probably not Sunburst since I'm a rock type. So he actually just went for the rocks, predicting me to go for the rocks, so I took him out with an EQ. On this turn, he was either going to go for a fighting type move or put me to sleep. I would rather than put me to sleep, so I decided to put on my rocks. I outsped. So I decided to switch back out into Laddie. I do not take the Force Palm well, but he does not have switching to a side shock as if for Scissors, so that's why I decided to go for the HP Fire, which works really well for me. And HP Fire can also take the lane out. A Specs HP Fire can also take the lane out from that range, so that was the safest trader. I decided to go back out into, not back out. I decided to go into Curing since I know I could take any hit and outspeed him and go for the Ice Beam as if Resist does not exist. Whew. So, this turn, it was quite, Gyarados is going to come in and take rocks damage, and she's not going to appreciate 2 Ice Beams. So, Ice Beam is the safest play. But, my opponent makes a really good play by going for the Cinder Wave, and he takes me out with the Burn. So now I can just freely go for the Side Shock since Scizor is gone, and it's going to be a huge chunk to everybody, but I was stupid, and Mac Bunch takes me out. So at this point I was like, oh my god, I'm so stupid. So I decided to go into Garchomp since I know I outspeed and I can fire off a Dragon Claw. He doesn't want anything else on his team to strike a Dragon Claw, so he sacks his Breloom. So at this point, he can either bring in his Gyara or his Garchomp. He ends up reading his Chomp. I'm pretty sure I outspeed since, unless it's Scarfed or it's a speed type. He ends up being a Sack version, which was quite unfortunate, to say the very least. But he was going to take him down from the Rough Skin Recoil, so that was fine. Or else that could have been really bad. So I knew I could take any hit from here by calculating the Waterfall and the Crunch, and that was pretty much GG unless he flinches with it. So that Garchomp was really, really scary. The Salak, he could have potentially swept my team since my T-Tar was asleep, and my Gardevoir will get KO'd by EQ. So at this point in the game, he decided to not Mega Evolve since we'll turn to the Dark type, but that didn't work out for him, as it was a GG, very good game to my opponent. So this is the third game. I'm probably going to put 3 to 4, I'm pretty sure 4 games in every episode. I'm not sure, maybe 5, depending on the time and how fast the game goes. So in this game, I predicted Hippowdon to set up the stand as fast as possible. So I decided to just start with Tyrannosaur, I believe. I calculated to see how much ice beam would do, and it was starting out, so I actually decided to just start with it and potentially set up my rocks and then fire off a few ice beams. So here's me calculating how much it would do. Yeah, so I start with the Tyrannosaur. He starts his Thunderous, and I decided to just go for a rock since he would fear the rock move since I was lead tar, and even if he has Focus Blast, I could either be Scarf or Thatch since I led it, and I could potentially KO him with a Stone Edge. So I'm gonna bluff the Scarf and go for the rocks here, something that he'll switch out. So I go for the rocks. My opponent is taking some time to think this turn. He was probably thinking if I was Scarf him up. I turn on the timer, put on a little pressure on him, and I'm pretty sure he switches. Yeah. So my opponent is taking a few times to think here. I led with C-turn more specifically, predicting the Hippo, even though it's not a very safe lead. So I decided to go for the Volt Switch, very safe play. It reveals the Life Orb. Actually, Volt Switch was not a safe play since I could have been Scarfed, but that was besides the point. I go for the rocks. So Exaggerate is definitely Sandrush since he has a Hippowdon on his team, so he can easily take me out here. I actually want to go into Garchomp to then take the Rough Skin from Ironhead, but I'm pretty sure he's going to go for EQ here since it was safe to place. But I really don't want to risk my Laddie as it is very important in this match. So he actually went up for EQ, and I could have gone to Laddie there. I went to my Chomp. I know I can lift anything from this drill and fire back off at EQ. So that's why I predicted him to switch and go for the sub. So my opponent is taking some time to think here, and I just decided to go for the sub. If he actually went for the EQ, then that will also be fine since I can tank the EQ damage plus go for a sub, I believe. I'm pretty sure. So I actually ends up going for a spin. At first I don't know why, but it will be revealed later why. So he spins here, and I just fire off an EQ here since all he will do is break my sub. So I'm pretty sure he switches out into Hippowdon here to sponge the Earthquake. Yes, so I first decided to go for a Sword Stance, and then I immediately realized that he could pack the Whirlwind. So that's why I decided to go for a second EQ. So see, Showdown's cancel button is working like a charm. So he stays in and goes for the rocks. At this point, I'm pretty convinced he doesn't have Whirlwind, so I decided to go for the SD. And he breaks my sub, and I'm pretty sure an Earthquake at this range is going to take him out. So I ended up just going for the Earthquake, and I'm not sure if the crit matters. I didn't count. I'm pretty sure it didn't matter, but yeah. So that's Hippo gone. He's gonna go switch into his V-Ball here, and this is where I realized why he spinned off the rocks on the Chomp. So I go into my Scizor predicting the Ice Type move, and I went for the U-turn predicting him to switch since a Fan BP will easily take a V-Ball out. So I go for the U-turn. He actually ends up revealing the knockoff, and he sashed. So that explains why he spun on Garchomp with his drill. That brings my Scizor down very low. I can only use it with Father. I know my Kyurem outspeeds it, and Ice Shard won't do much. So I switch out into Kyurem and just went for Dragon Claw as it was my safest play. So at this point of time, my game plan was basically try and take out this Weavile and then try and fire off some Dracos, and that Altera was quite a large problem actually, and I don't have a reliable answer to it. Only one being in Scarf Kyurem, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Scarf Kyurem. So I ended up just going for Dragon Claw. Takes out the Weavile, and he goes on to Altaria. He knows I'm locked in since I'm Scarfed, and he's probably just going to Mega Evolve and go for something like a Hyper Voice. I switch on to my Scizor. Actually goes for a DD. I do not agree with that play for some reason. I don't know why. Actually, I didn't like the DD play since he could have easily taken out my Scizor, and if my BP Scizor was going to do quite a lot to him, and my Kyurem was going to outspeed. So I don't agree with the DD play. He could have just gone for Hyper Voice and taken me out, and it potentially saved his Altera from taking 70-something% of damage. So at this point, out of me being stupid, I thought it was being stupid free since my current doesn't have speed. So my best chance was just going to cure him and pray that I outspeed. I don't know the speed powers here, and I don't bother memorizing. I just use the calc, so I just try and fire off ice beam here. My opponent also thinks it's GG. So at this point of the game, I was like, yeah, last game we won 2 out of 3. I'm pretty sure. So yeah, that was a good score. But actually, my opponent stays for quite a long time, and then he reveals that I am actually faster than his Altaria, and so I ended up taking his Altaria out, and that makes the game a lot more interesting than before. So I'm pretty sure he goes into his drill. I'm sure, or his volcano. I'm pretty sure he goes into his volcano here. Yeah, so he goes into his volcano. As I said before, I do not have a switch in, so except for Laddie, so I went to Laddie and I decided to fire off Spectrator. It takes out everything on his team. Everything. Nothing switches in, nothing can take it. Ends up sacking his volcano. That is great for me. Laddie is I really like Stress Laddie. I don't know why it's used so little now in the ORAS meta, and back in the XY it was used very frequently. So as he takes out my Laddie, now I can just go into Scarf Fury and fire off a few Ice Beams. So I know he's going to switch on to Drill. That does a solid 30%, and that is a roll of putting him in range of Outrage. So right here I decided to switch into Garchomp, as it can't do very much except for tank 1 move from Drill, but HP Ice. So even if I sacked her in black and then switch on to Garchomp and I tank a hit and go for EQ, he could. First it was a 50-50, he could go into his Sunburst and easily HP Ice Me, and even if I get the prediction right of going for Dragon Claw, it wasn't going to take him out, and he's just going to take me out with HP Ice, and Drill can potentially sweep. So I do agree with my Ice Beam play, and then going out into Garchomp and stacking my Chomp. I decided to go for a Dragon Claw here, as I know that he is going to go for the EQ. I'm positive. He doesn't want to take the Rocky Helmet damage, as it's going to 100% put him in outrage range. So my opponent makes a really questionable play, doubling out into Sunburst. I don't know. I mean, I knew I outsped him. That was my bad. First time commentating. So I knew I outsped him, and then I could have jumped on EQ. That was still a 50-50. I decided to stack my Gardevoir right here. Gardevoir doesn't do anything in this game now. Outspeed got everything before Mega, and everything had just taken out. So I stacked my Gardevoir here, and Sunburst is going to go down to Life Orb Recoil. I just decided to fire off a Hyper Voice here. So I actually have D-Bond on this Gardevoir. He actually goes for the Thunder Wave, so guaranteeing Drill outspeed, since Thunderbolt was kind of like a roll, I'm pretty sure. So if he goes on to Drill, I'm just going to try and click D-Bond. My Gardevoir has D-Bond, which I think is a really good choice over like Taunt in early meta. So this is where the game got interesting. I don't know if our Outrage is going to kill. I'm pretty sure it's a roll. I don't know his spread, and yeah, so this was a really close battle, and spoilers, I ended up taking him out with the Outrage, and yeah, that's it. My first Showdown, not live, but my first Showdown video. So I ended up just going for the Outrage, and I said GG, since either way, one of us is going to win right now. And I go for the Outrage in the moment of truth. I take him out. So, hope you all enjoyed this live, and thanks.